Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, I just want to do a real quick look at the NECA Unmasked Scar Predator. Now this is an older figure, and I don't have the package for it, but I finally got one, so I wanted to show you guys because it's one of my favorite figures from the bunch. And I know a lot of you guys like the NECA Predator figures to begin with, so I figured it'd be a good one to look at. It's one of the earlier AVP Predators, so it does have most of the same parts that we've seen a dozen times by now, but doesn't mean it's not necessarily a cool figure. And for me, like I said, it's one of my favorites. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 23 centimeters tall, which makes him just under 9 inches. He's got a whole lot of size to him, and since he has the double armor, he's got the full shoulder pads, left arm, right arm, everything is covered up. He looks particularly bulky. He's got a lot of mass to him, and then he does have some cool accessories, so let's go ahead and talk about those. He does have the backpack with the plasma caster on the top with the hinges and the little ball peg to move that around. So, and it slides up and down on that backpack. So you get the backpack, you get the 2 long blades that come out of his gauntlet on his right arm, you get the knife that goes into the scabbard or sheath on his leg, you get a collapsed spear which can be pegged onto his back, and you get the shuriken which he can hold. So it's a pretty nice bunch. It's not the most accessories we've ever seen, but it does come on the figure, which I think is one of the best looking. Now, it's worth noting that this particular one has kind of a dent on his head. I guess it's a molding issue. I don't know. But you can look at the top right of his head. It's just kind of caved in right here, which isn't great. It's not the best situation. Since this guy's so old, I didn't have many options in looking for another one, so I did order a second one, and it had more issues than this one, so I ended up returning that one and just keeping this one. Luckily, though, it's still a really nice head sculpt. I absolutely love the Unmasked Predators, and this one's got the full open mouth, so you can see all that really nice paintwork. The eyes are even painted cleanly inside there. It's kind of hard to see, but it's there. And then obviously it's just everything else is just the usual awesome paintwork and sculpt work for these Predators. It's not anything we haven't seen before, so I'm just going to run through the articulation real quick and we'll call it there. But I like this guy a whole bunch just because he's got the full armor, the unmasked head, the open mouth, the long claws, and then the usual accessories. He does have the pad over here that opens up. Doesn't have the things painted inside, but it still opens up, so that's pretty nice. Now, as far as the articulation goes, the head is on a ball peg, but it generally ends up being mostly just a swivel because of the hair. Even though it's soft material, it will get in the way a little bit. But you can move the head around. The shoulder pads are soft, even though they're connected to the torso. They don't get in the way too much of the shoulders. You do have full ball hinge shoulders. This guy's really old, so and he's never been out of the package until like a week ago, so he's very stiff. But you can rotate them all the way around, and you can usually get the arms up almost completely horizontally. Yeah, you could do it. It's just, like I said, very stiff. So that's good, though. Double jointed elbows work very nicely, so that's good. You have your gauntlet swivel, which moves the whole forearm, and then the hands are on ball pegs, so those can move around as well. The torso is on, I believe, a double ball peg. They generally require a little bit of hairdryer action to warm them up to move them around. Plus, they're connected in the front and in the back, so you're going to be pretty limited about that articulation on this particular figure. Same thing with the ball peg for the lower torso. It's going to be very, very limited on this guy, so just be aware of that. These guys are all floating, soft pieces, so the legs can still use their full ball hinge hips. They go almost all the way out to the side, so that's pretty good. And then you can bring them forward as well. This guy, much like all of the other Predators, does end up getting a little bit loose going front to back in the hip. I hope they end up figuring out a way to fix that. I mean, I know technically why it's happening. I just hope they decide to do something about that because it's not great. It's not a deal breaker, but it's not great. We do have double jointed knees, which have really good range in them, so that's nice. No problems there. And you do have a swivel in that upper knee if you need it, though I don't think you will. And then lastly, we have our ball pegged ankles, which are pretty limiting. They don't have the best range, but they do look nice. So at least these guys, for what they're lacking in posability, they do make up for in huge amounts with the sculpt and paint. And yes, they do use a lot of reused parts, but I think that's okay just because look at the sculpt and the paint. There's no figure at anywhere near a $20 price point that has this much paint on it. It's just not even close. So they look so nice, and that's why I love this line. And that's why I think you guys might end up liking it too. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new videos up every single day. We talk about action figures, movies, TV shows, video games, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure you turn on notifications and don't miss any of that. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. And in the meantime, keep collecting.